Good evening. How are we all? Good evening, TFR and everyone else that is in the chat. We are live for our very first round of the GT3 PRO and Amateur Championship here at Turn 7 Racing. Live from Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. One of the world's most famous tracks. Set for an absolute epic battle here. Around 30 drivers or so lined up for tonight's session. So we're in for one hell of a good race. Really excited, looking forward to it as well. And joined in the studio with me tonight and co-commentating is my good buddy, Mr. Robert Taylor.
Good evening.
So yeah, really looking forward to this race tonight. Robert, what's your takes on it so far?
Yeah, same really. It was obviously a nice big turnout. Times in practice so far have been really close, so it looks like there's going to be a lot of battling all the way through the field.
100%, mate, and it's good to see as well, like, the guys really pushing as well in the practice sessions, trying to, you know, get their tyres up to temperature, get used to the track, ready for the 30-minute open qualifying session that we run here at Turn 7 Racing. It's not a closed session where the drivers have got the track to themselves. It's open because technically that's the way it is in real life racing. So we'll just bring the timing tower up and let you know how the guys are getting on right now. Aaron Rose is up there leading for the pro drivers right now in the practice session. Now that's nothing, that's no indication in how the qualifying is going to go. Like some of these guys will be practicing with race setups. Some will be practicing with hot laps. And currently watching D Ridder going round the track here right now in his BMW Z4. If you were racing in this championship, Robert, what's the car of your choice? What would you have chosen to race in this?
I think racing's fix. I'd probably be in a Mercedes. I just love the sound and the way the car feels. They've kind of reverted back to the old build of it, so it's a lot more user-friendly, I find, now than some of the other cars. But all the cars are pretty well balanced. I think it is good to see a nice mix.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of Ferraris though in the lineup. I've noticed that as well.
Yes, there is a vast number of Ferraris out. I think over half the field is in a Ferrari total.
Yeah, is the Ferrari a lot better this season on iRacing, or is it just like? Have you test drove it since?
I haven't driven it since the rebuild. I've driven the Audi and I've driven the Mercedes. I drove the Ferrari a lot before and it was a good car. It's like the GTE version. It always ate the curbs nicely, so you could always use that little bit more of the track with the Ferrari than you could some of the other cars.
Yeah, 100%. One of the tracks that sticks out to me with that is Montreal and the final chicane. I think they call it the Wall of Champions.
That's it, yeah. And Imola, the chicane at the top of the hill, they're the same.
Yeah, you can proper eat the curb on that. We have
Billy Fletcher's just gone to the top, finally breaking the two Roses, who are actually sitting on identical lap time. Shows how close it's going to be if you've got two cars sitting on an identical lap, which is
yeah,
something that doesn't happen very often. And we've got, 23 cars separated by 2 seconds?
Yeah, that's right, aye. 23 cars, guys, separated by 2 seconds. Now that is... It is a genuine indication of just how this is going to go here today. Can you just do me a little favour, Robert? Can you, Niels has just joined the session. I've not got him in yet. Is he amateur or pro? Do you know?
He is an amateur.
Right. Just so I can get him set up for his class. And so it reads his name properly on the system. Oh, crying it quietly. Do you know what team he's with? What car team he's with?
I can find that now. Give me a second.
If you don't mind, mate.
He's unregistered. Independent. No team.
No team. Alrighty. I just don't. I just get rid of that information before we came live. It's typical, isn't it? Car colour. It doesn't have a picture as yet either. Pro amateur. Okay. Right, that's us up to date, guys, with all the drivers. So that's another driver joined the session. So I think that's we're total up at 32. 32 drivers battling it out here today on Barcelona for the Turn 7 racing. Round 1 GT3. I keep saying GTE because of last season. I'm so used to saying it. So don't worry about it too much if I keep mucking it up. But yeah, the GT3 Championship here, round 1 at Barcelona. It's quite a technical track, this, although it's got a fair amount of fast straightaways and stuff, Robert. Like, you know, like the corners around the back section, some of them are surprisingly quite tough.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of everything. Obviously, with the high-speed straight, it's quite a long straight on this one. You've got some slow chicanes, hairpin, and then the long sweepers. So it's a bit of everything.
Yeah, so it's definitely a good mix of a track. And this layout is specifically when you're coming up to the final turn in that, you know, that tight chicane there. I'm sure most drivers take it in first gear. It really, you know, you really have to, like, it's a really tight turn and really hard to come out of that properly onto the start finish line straight. It's easy to lose the back end of the car on the exit of that corner. Yeah,
and you've got to exit so smooth to set yourself up for that last corner, because you're going to lose time that whole straight otherwise.
Yeah,
it's such a key, like, getting the chicane right to get the entry into the last corner right, so you can maximize your lap time with the long straight.
So yeah, guys, just to explain the timing tower for this championship, the numbers that you can see down the left-hand side of the timing tower, the red are pro drivers, the blue is amateur, and when they're lit up gold, that is the current car that we are viewing. Just to let you know, guys, we also have the ability as well to show you who's leading in both amateur and pro by a little pop-up that pops up in the centre of the screen up the very top. We'll just show you that now. And the overall, as you can see, the leader right now is Harper, Elliot Harper, and he's obviously the overall leader as well. And Michael Bucket is there is leading just now for the amateurs. So yeah, that's the way that we've got it set up really well for this split championship here. The championship points are what overall, and then they're split into section of pro and amateur. Wherever they finish, that's the points that they take into the pro and amateur category as well. So it could work out a benefit to them if, let's say, for saying sake, an amateur wins the whole race and gets a full 51 points. He will take that full 51 points into his amateur championship. and things like that. So, like, you know, it certainly works out good for the guys going forward in the championship. It would certainly make me push. So here we are, guys. We are live now with the qualifying, and the cars are getting out on track, getting ready to go. We will show you the best time up on the timing tower once the times do come in, and we will also show the qualifying mode as soon as the cars have been out on track for, I think it's over 50%. They'll start showing up down the bottom with the times and the sectors as well. So keep an eye out on that as we start the session here. Oh, a little spin there by DeRidder. One of the things that I've noticed here is straight away in the qualifying session is all the cars left the pit at the exact same time. Now, if that was me that was sitting there and they're getting ready to qualify, I would leave it a gap before I left the pits. There's a full 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a bit crowded out there in some sections on track at the moment. There are some small gaps, but there's some bits where you've got sort of 7, 8 cars on top of each other.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
A new follower.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Thank you very much for the follow there, Ice Keith Gaming, and welcome to the family. So, I think in this championship as well, we've got a fair amount of pro drivers as well as amateur drivers. It's actually not too far off being quite even, to be honest. I think the amateur drivers just tipple it and no more.
Yeah, it's 25 AM to the 17 pros.
So that's actually not too bad.
No. It's good to see that there's, in a way, that there is more AMs and that they are finding it an attractive prospect, having the class system to have that battle for, because not everybody is obviously able to run at the front, but they've still got their own battle as well as the overall to try and take that AM honours, if you like.
Yeah, 100%, Robert. I've got to agree. And it was one of the things that I think you suggested yourself, wasn't it, at one point? And we kind of took it on board and thought it was an absolutely outstanding idea, and it showed with the amount of entries we've got, and the interest straight away as well. As soon as the championship get advertised, I think we almost filled up within a week to 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the turnout for a first week with 32 cars in session and pretty much 32 cars on track at the moment, with 41 cars registered to the championship, that means there's 9 missing through whatever the reasoning being, with obviously different commitments and things. But to have such a strong turnout for the first week.
Yeah, 100%.
Shows the strength of the series.
Well, long may it continue.
Oh, 100%. It's hard watching.
Yeah, like
you know yourself. It's hard watching. You want to be out there with such a good grid,
yeah,
with good drivers. You want to be out there, but it's going to be a good watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting season. As long as these numbers stay up as well. I mean, guys, we are still open for applications for this championship. It isn't too late. This is only round 1 of 9, so you aren't really missing out on much. And yeah, we are open, so if you do want to join the championship, just put !Discord in the chat, join our Discord and let us know in the Your Choices channel in the Discord, which is down below the welcome one. And yeah, we'll get you signed up. You can be on this track next week driving with these guys. Keith, I'm hoping you don't crash the first corner, mate.
The big question is Keith going to qualify?
Yeah, that is a big question. Oh, and there's a couple of off tracks there. I'm sure that was...
We had a 3 and 42 both had yellow flags there. R35 as well.
I'm sure that was Paul Carey there with his Iron Brew livery. Don't know why it's not showing the car numbers up the right hand side there. 2 seconds, guys, I'll get that sorted out for you. Should show now. Yeah, it is.
Tenth of a second, currently separating the top 4 cars.
A tenth of a second split.
A tenth of a second splitting 4.
Whoa, that's close, man. We're in for a super close race, guys. As you can see, the amateurs are starting to put their times in as well. And I mean, P8, who is currently pole position for the amateur side right now, he's currently running a 146.6, so it's not a million miles away either from you know, the pros pace there. Gregory Van Hove's following very closely there in second place for the amateurs, and Simon Dodd, Michael Bucket, Jonas Greener, then Colin D. Campbell there, who's a pro driver, currently sitting in 12th position, and he's just moved up to 10th there with a 146.921. So he is climbing, he is getting faster on his qualifying session. Jonas Greener there in 12th, Claus Nelson in 13th, Chris Neesham in 14th, John Dobarts there in P15, Lero Forsblom in P16. I'm probably not saying that second name right, please excuse me if I am not. Oh, he just moved up to P13 there with a 147.620. John Payne there as well, who's a new driver here at Turn 7 Racing as well. There's a lot of new drivers here for this series. We're hoping that they stay with us and join some more championships as well. Paul Carey currently in the BMW down there. He's got the Iron Brew livery, guys. He's in P18 right now. Jamie Jackins there in P19. And Andre Kerbel in P20 just now for the overall as well.
Billy Fletcher to the top on a 45.0.
Oh,
just put a 3/10 gap there.
A really nice lap there from Billy. He certainly looked a good driver in pre-season races there as well, Billy Fletcher, and Lewis Rose as well has certainly got some pace.
Yeah, I raced against the 2 Roses of Bathurst, and they're both very quick, and they seem to have got the handle on that Audi, which is definitely a bit twitchier in the current build. And yeah, both very quick. They showed it in the earlier practice as well.
Yeah. So the guys do have a chance pre-season here at Turn 7 Racing to test cars out and see what they're going to run for the season. And yeah, most of the guys are pretty much solid in what they've picked. There were a couple of changes, I think, before the practice session on Wednesday there, but it was nothing major. I think there were one change from a Ferrari to a McLaren. I'm sure that was Boscher that decided to do that. And yeah, I think that was it. Actually, I think there were just one. Looking at the system there.
Still very busy on track. Only 4 or 5 cars in the pits. Everybody else on track still trying to get those better times in.
It's really good to see, actually, to be honest. So
It's
we're currently...
got to be hell trying to find clear air at the moment.
Yeah. We're currently with Stephen Jones here, who is... Well, we were with Stephen Jones there, who was out on his hot lap. There's someone out... There's Elliot Harper out on his out lap right now, trying to better his time of a 1:45.445. Lewis Rose there with a Tiger livery. One of the most interesting liveries. That and the Iron Brew one, I think, is the 2 most interesting liveries in the championship this season. Certainly sticks out.
There's no mistaking them. You definitely see them coming.
Yeah, 100%.
Another one of the liveries I quite like is the year 1. The colour scheme on that. It's very different, very bright, easy to spot.
Yeah, the year 1 livery is one of the ones that stuck out in the GTE Championship as well. Yeah, it's very easy to point them out, and like this one though, this one's brilliant. Iron Brew gets you through. I'm sure that's what it says on the back. One of the guys from Mexico here, I'm sure it's Michael Bucket, one of the amateur drivers currently in pole position for the amateurs. So guys, if you are watching this right now, just a quick reminder again that Turn 7 Racing GT3 Championship is still open for competitors. D-Ridder just going off track there. And yeah, if you are interested in joining, just put ! Discord in the chat. And if you're watching back on YouTube, just scroll down into the description and you'll see a link there. You can join up, no problem at all. You join the Discord, go to your choices channel and just let us know your current license class and your IR, and we'll get you sorted out for the next round. We actually had a last minute entry tonight, didn't we?
Yes, there was one more. Is it Niels?
Yeah, Neil's entered tonight, yeah. You tell them, Keith. Currently with Stephen Jones here, who's currently pushing for that elusive pole position. He's on his outlap right now as we speak. It's a very busy track, as you can see, guys. It's here for the 30-minute qualifying session. It's quite difficult to get out and get that clear space to put a proper time in, but that's where we like the open qualifying sessions. It's a lot better for the drivers because it means, like, you know, the super fast guys are not always going to get the super fast times, and yeah, it means it's a little bit more competitive.
I think with the open qualifying session, it tends to be closer as well because not everybody can hook the car up on that one lap.
Yeah.
So it condenses the grid a bit more by having that few attempts, if you like.
Yeah, certainly with the full 30 minutes as well, it gives the drivers plenty of time. I don't know why the back markers guy's flashing the guy in front of him. They're both on a hot lap. Chris Neesham flashing, I don't know who it is in front of him, number 34.
A new follower. Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Thank you very much for the follow there, Billy. I hope you enjoy the race, buddy, and good luck.
Captain, we are being hosted.
Matt Crow it was. Thank you very much for the host there as well, Billy. It's much appreciated, buddy. So there's literally only 0.3 seconds here splitting Billy and Lewis up there for pole position and second position on the grid. We've roughly got 23 minutes, 12, 13 minutes left of the session for qualifying, guys. It is only a 30-minute qualifying session. Plenty of time for the guys to get out there and put in their fastest laps in a busy track. Plenty of rubber on the track for the race session as well. It is not cleaned before the race. So they've had an hour practice, then 30 minutes in the qualifying, and then straight into the race. So it should be well rubbered up.
And the track's still at a good temperature as well, at 94 Fahrenheit. So there's going to be plenty of grip down.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely a fast track today, like. Elliot Harper there. Oh, he just loses it there and hits the wall. Back to the pits he goes to reset and try again. Good little group of cars there. Claus Nelson just giving way to the faster guys there because he's on his outlap. That was very well done there from Claus, adhering to the blue flag situation on the qualifying session.
A new follower. Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Thank you very much for the follow there, CXNRXR1234. That's a good name. Liam B Racing, welcome to you as well, and thank you very much for the follow. It's much appreciated. Okay, guys, that is us within the last 10 minutes. The guys out on track right now will be proper pushing to try and get that pole position or as high up the grid as they possibly can. Let's just have a little look at the weather here today at Barcelona. The current air temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit and track temperature is at 93 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's almost perfect there for racing. 44% humidity as well. So it's a perfect day to get these cars around Barcelona. Carol Gray, one of the amateurs there, currently sitting in P8. He's got a few pro drivers down below him there, so that's a really good time there for Carol as well.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Yeah, I do know Carl has been pushing really hard in practice as well for this championship, and he really does enjoy driving the Ferrari GT3. I think he actually prefers it more than the GTE that he was in last season, because if you remember back to the GTE last season with Carl, he didn't go off to a great start, but he certainly finished stronger than he started. So I'm thinking that maybe the GTE is actually GT3 is actually sitting him a little bit more.
Yeah, you've got the extra, obviously the extra aids in the ABS and things, which can suit some drivers, especially with the changes that have been made with the braking on the GTs. I know quite a few people have struggled with the new system. It's definitely taken a bit of time to get to grips with. So the GT3s are a bit more forgiving. You can race them a bit harder.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You can certainly break that a little bit later as well. Colin Campbell actually just got up the leaderboard there, up the grid there as well, up into P11. So there's only 2 amateurs now in front of Colin as well. So he's currently getting faster on the track as well, doing pretty well. I do know, like some of the guys that are racing here today, Barcelona is certainly not their favourite track.
Like we said earlier, it's definitely very technical. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
It's certainly not one of my favourites when it comes up in the calendar, let's put it that way. Like me personally, I just cannot get a fast lap time on this track. Like, I try, and I just can't do it. In any car, it doesn't matter what car it is, I just can't get a fast lap time on it. It's really strange. I either accelerate a little bit too early, and I don't know. I genuinely don't know what it is. I just can't get a fast lap time on here.
For some reason, I always seem to struggle at 5. It's a track that's always never really had a problem with it, but just for whatever you do, I cannot get the same speed as people through turn 5, and you just hemorrhage time if there's a corner like that. These guys don't seem to be having any problems with that, though. We've had another 2 go close the gap down to Billy Fletcher. Aaron Rose has slotted in second with a 45.1, and Elliot Harper just behind him on a 45.2.
Lewis Rose there, I don't think he's made any change. He still have 145.3. I'm sure that he's maybe quite happy with that time and just biding his time to obviously the qualifying session finishing, which is finishing in approximately 5 minutes now. So there's only 5 minutes left of qualifying, guys, and then we're on to the 1 hour race, which does include a pit stop as well, guys. So we will have a look at that and see how that affects the guys' strategy. Some may go for an early pit. Oh, there's one of the back marker guys going off the track there. Chris Neesham. Some of the guys may start with a little less fuel and go a little bit earlier, because the pit window here is going to be really busy with 31 cars.
If we see them all pit at the same lap, it's definitely going to be eventful.
Yeah, 100%.
Trying to fit 31 cars in and out of that pit lane and pick your own spot, like where you're supposed to stop at your lollipop man and not overshoot. It's going to be a bit hectic if they all choose to pit on the same lap.
I know if I was racing in this, I would probably run with a little bit less fuel. Probably look to last around the 40-minute mark, maybe just less. 35-40 minutes, then pit. But that could also hinder you as well, though, because you would inevitably have a longer pit time.
Longer stationary time, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be. I don't think anybody's gonna consider tires. It's only going to be fuel stops, so it's just going to be who can be most efficient through pit lane with save a bit of fuel early on, maybe if you're in the draft, and try and limit how short that stationary time is. Try and get a jump.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, 3 minutes left. I think it could be a big push from a couple of cars. There's a few that have just gone back out again.
Oh, the back end going out there just as we got onto the scene with him, Matt Crow. Look, right out there and bounces off the wall. Wrecks his car with about 3 minutes left of the session. I don't think he'll have enough time for another lap. I think that's him finished his qualifying session. Currently with Andre Kerbel here in the Mercedes AMG, one of the best sounding cars on the planet. I've not seen Keith Farron yet on this leaderboard. Has he chosen to sit out the qualifying again, do you think, Robert?
It seems that way, yeah. And I sort of mixed opinions on this one. It's going to be great to see, and hopefully, fingers crossed for him, it goes well and he can move his way through a bit. But starting behind 31 cars, I think going down into turn one, I'd be a little bit nervous.
Yeah, me too. My bum would be clenching onto that driver's seat like nothing else.
Definitely.
All those brake lights. You won't be able to see the apex for red lights.
Still 2 AMs inside the top 10, which is good.
Yeah, 100%. It's really good to see. Carl Gray and Michael Bucket there in the top 10 for the amateurs.
So as it stands, the AM pole's only just over a second off the outright pole, so that's pretty good going.
Yeah. It shows you how close the championship is going to be as well. Now, guys, what you need to realise as well is there is an opportunity for the amateurs to be promoted up into pro if they're consistently as good as the pros. Then they will get offered the chance to be promoted up into the pro section. So yeah, we will definitely keep an eye on that. Michael Bucket here might just be having a really good day. We'll wait and see where he finishes in the race. It's okay doing a hot lap, but the actual race is where it really counts, and you know where it matters in the championship. Aaron Rose coming into the pit there to finish his qualifying session. That is now qualifying over, guys. Once all the cars have stopped, we will have the results and the grid up on screen for you. Here for the Turn 7 Racing GT3 Pro and Amateur Championship here at Round 1 Barcelona. Live on Twitch TV /Turn 7 Racing for Barcelona. The track length is a measly 2.84 miles of series technical corners. Some really fast, some really tight, slow corners. It's definitely a good mix, and some good long straights as well to get that car right up to speed. We currently have a wind of 13 miles per hour. It's partly cloudy, 44% humidity, and 75 degrees Fahrenheit air temperature for this awesome race here in Spain. So as we wait on the guys just finishing the last laps here for the grid positions to come up. So Robert, who's your money on for the amateurs to take this win today?
He's definitely looking like a possible two-horse race. I think Carl might do it. I'm going to go with Carl Gray on the AM side. With the practice, he was quite quick. Him and Michael are very close. There was only 2/10 between them in qualifying, but I'll go with Carl on the AM.
Yeah, I think that's a fair choice, to be honest with you. I think Jamie Jenkins might pull a nice one through there. I've been watching him closely in pre-season practice as well, and I was fairly impressed with the way he was looking. So I think he may actually come up through and finish on the win. Wait a minute here. What's happening? There we go. We have the grid for you as the guys are loading in. We've got in pole position Billy Fletcher, Aaron Rose in second. In third position is Bosher Williams. And fourth is Elliot Harper. In fifth position is Lewis Rose, Stephen Jones in sixth. Colin D. Campbell managed to get into seventh there. And Jason Hodgson in eighth. Keys Eigerman in P9, Ed there in P10, Alan Day in P11, Matt Crow in P12. And in the amateur level there, Billy Fletcher takes it for the amateurs. Is that right? Why is it doing this? Sorry guys, it's a new grid for me. So Michael Bucket's in P7, Colin D. Campbell is in 8th, Jason Hodgson in 9th, Carol Gray in 10th, Simon Dodd 11th, Keys in 12th. And in 13th place is Ed. Jamie Jenkins in 14th. Gregory Van Hove in 15th. 16th is Alan Day. Jonas Greener there in his 17th. 18th is Paul Kerry. Matt Crow in 19th. Chris Neesham there in 20th. Rasmus Greener in 21st. Claus Nelson there in 22nd. John Payne 23rd. John Dobarts in 24th. Andre Kerbel in 25th. Lero Forsblom in 26th. Niels Manschaden there in 27th. Dieter de Ridder in 28th. Luke Hobson in 29th. Mika Hakala in 30th. Robert Odoms there starts last in P31. I didn't see where Keith Farron was. Keith Farron is currently in last position. Technically 32nd because we're not racing. So that is the overall grid. And as we go around for the formation lap, guys, we'll get into the action here. It's going to be a very interesting start to the race. And they are off. Going through turn one fairly cleanly so far.
Looks like everybody's made it through safely, which I think is a credit to all the drivers, so well done all there.
100%. Everyone making it through safely in the turn one. So far, a very, very clean start to this race. Absolutely outstanding from the guys here at Barcelona. Billy Fletcher pulling out a half-second lead so far. Oh, a little bit of contact there. I'm not sure who that was with. Robert Odoms has the crash. Mika Hakala has now had the crash. There's a couple of incidents happening right now.
Back there.
As we come on to lap 2, Keys and Lero Forsblom has also had a crash. I think we spoke a little bit too soon there, Robert.
Yeah, well, they made a lap.
Yeah. There's a lot happening right now, guys.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Thank you very much for the follow there. What's that, buddy?
Got caught up. Forsberg and Hove got caught up at the top of the hill before the chicane. Both been on the track. They both seem to have rejoined now.
Hove is currently in the pits. Luke Hobson is currently in the pits right now.
Hove's just rejoining out of the pits.
Is it Hove? Yeah, it's Hove. It's in the pits.
Number 75. He's just rejoined. We got
Yeah.
yellow flag at turn 5 as well. I'll grab your car 34.
Yeah, see there, that's off track. There's a hell of a lot happening here right now, guys. Full of
big
action.
dive.
A big dive?
Yeah, Matt Crow was
contact there as
taken
well.
out there.
Do you know who that was involved with, in case I've got it up here?
With Elliot Harper.
Yeah, we'll go back and have a little look at that, guys. It's not rewinding far enough again. I forgot to set it up to do it. That's my bad. So let's just have a little look at that, guys. I don't like rewinding live on the stream, but yeah, I want to see what happened here. Oh, dives right up on the inside there and takes... Yeah, I see that, man. It actually involves about 3 or 4 cars. They are almost worthy of a safety car.
Matt Crow can't seem to take a break at the moment. Same corner next lap and he's off again.
Robert Odoms as well had a little incident. Excuse me, guys.
Yeah, it was Odoms that was caught up with Crow that time.
Yeah, 100%. Crow just coming up the inside of him there. He did looking at where he was on his car. He did have the right to the line there as well. So I don't think it was so much a dive. There were another accident there with Carl Gray. I can't say his name properly. Speech impediment. He just spins on the chicane. So there's a lot of action and happening here, guys, early on in the race. As you can see, Billy Fletcher is still leading the race, though, followed very closely within a 1.5 seconds by Aaron Rose. Lewis Rose in P3. Bosher Williams there in P4. P5 is Stephen Jones. P6, Jason Hodgson. P7, Colin D. Campbell. Simon Dodd there in P8. And Ed in P9. 10th is Michael Bucket. 11, Jamie Jackins. 12th, Alan Day. 13th, Chris Neesham. 14th, Paul Kerry. Klaus Nelson and P15. 16th is Niels Manschanden. And 17th, Jonas Greener. 18th is Dieter De Ridder. 19th is Rasmus Greener. And 20th just now is Andre Carbel. So that's your top 20 here for round 1 so far. And lap 4, turn 7 racing at Barcelona. There's a few of the pro drivers there falling back down the ranks there as well there. Robert, as we can see. Certainly on the track back, you can see them there currently running P28.
Yeah, Elliot Harper's not been having a good run.
Yeah.
He's just had a spin on his own at turn 1, a bit too much curb. Carrying a little bit of damage on the back end. Continued again though, still in there. I'm amazed how close they are already to their qualifying times. Last time around, Billy Fletcher's done a 45.9, which is only 9/10 slower than what he did in qualifying, and he's now got a full tank of fuel on.
It just shows you then just how much the track is rubbered up and how really the perfect temperatures for the race it is today. And a credit obviously to the driving as well. Good evening, Mod. Sorry to see you're not in this race.
Just a quick couple of mentions. Niels Manschanden, I'm sorry if I get anybody's name wrong, up 11 places, and Dieter De Ridder up 10.
That's really good to see as well.
Now. Yeah.
Keith Farron is also up 10 places as well there. Well, technically it's 11 because he was. Or 8.
Yeah.
And Keys Iserman is down at 13 places. Matt Crow is down 7 from his qualifying. Elliot Harper, though, is down 25 laps. 25 places from his qualifying position.
Yeah, started on the second row.
So it just shows you guys having a good lap time and qualifying up there at the top with the guys isn't always going to guarantee you a good finish.
You got car 50, Mika Hackler in the pits at the moment. Looks like he's had a spin on his own and jumped back for repairs.
Chris Neesham there, currently running P16, one of the back marker guys. Jonas Greener followed very closely behind him.
This is a great little battle pack.
Yeah, one hell of a great battle here. Currently for P16 and 17. D Ridder there just behind one of the pro drivers up 10 places. He's currently battling with Greener as well as Greener's battling with Neesham. Kerbel taking the cones out there. Sure, the race marshals will be loving him for that.
Looks like at the moment Niels is just struggling for a little bit of pace with the 3 cars behind him, but he's still driving it straight. Soaking up the pressure quite well.
100%. Currently in the lead for the pros is Fletcher, and amateur is Simon Dodd. Did you call that one actually?
No, I called his teammate Carl Gray, who unfortunately has fallen down a little bit. He's down 11 spots in 21st, unfortunately, but there's plenty of time for him to mount a comeback.
Yeah, 100%. So let's just have a little look at the best times between the amateur and pro. There's currently around about just short of 2 seconds, maybe just over 2 seconds of the lap time difference. In fact, no, it's not. It's just over a second.
1.2 seconds, yeah.
1.2 seconds of difference between amateur and pro here right now. So it just shows you guys just how close this actually is. What happened?
Sorry, I've just seen that battle we were watching. Unfortunately, let me get the name.
Jonas Greener.
The BMW that was at the front has just spun off.
Nielsmann.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, I see it there.
He just jumped back to pits as well.
We'll go back and we'll have a little look at that.
Shame, because that was a good battle. He was driving well there.
Oh, he just clips the stones on the outside. They sent him flying round into the wall.
Yeah.
Currently running with your P3 driver, Mr. Aaron Rose, right now, in the Audi R8. Flying down the start-finish straight, with Bosch really close behind him, about to open up a little battle here between the two. Bosch are currently running in the McLaren. I recently purchased this car myself and absolutely love it.
When it's going with the front leading the rear, yeah?
Yeah.
You don't love it so much when the rear leads the front, which it tends to do.
Yeah, it's quite a twitchy car, I've got to admit that, like.
This is a great battle at the moment for second. Bastian seems to close up on the braking on the way in, but he seems to be losing drive on the way out to the Audi.
Yeah, 100%.
You can just see that back end's dancing around a little bit.
The Audi's certainly looking the stronger car on the exit of the turns here in Barcelona right now. Two Audis currently together in the championship. Lewis Rose and Aaron Rose. I think they're actually brothers as well. Don't quote me on it though. John Dobarts has passed Keith Farr in there as well, guys. Just further, a little bit of action happening further down the pack as well. Matt Crow has passed Keys Eiserman as well. Lero Forsblom has literally just had a crash. The McLaren of Bosch, they're just picking up some grass on the outside of the track. They're going through that turn. Keys Eiserman has passed John Dobarts. John Dobarts, a little bit of battle going back and forth there between Keys and John. But Keys finished on top on that one. They passed each other a couple of times before Keys actually finally making that final pass. Jamie Jarkins is still sitting in P11 right now. He's looking quite comfortable there at the moment. I had my money on pulling through and taking the lead. Michael Barkett, who qualified in pole position for the amateurs, is currently sitting in second place for the amateurs right now. Paul Kerry currently sitting in fourth for the amateurs, so he's fourth in class.
Keith at the moment is climbing all over the back of Matt Crow, looking every which way he can. He's
Let's
going
jump to
left,
that
he's
action
going
right now.
right, and he's looking underneath as well.
Eiserman really closing down on Keith there in the Ferrari, going down the straight. Keith goes out wide. Gets the better entry for the second turn, which is the one that matters. It's a choice you have to make in turn 1 and 2. What one do you choose to take the best? I always compromise turn 1 to get a better exit out of turn 2, personally myself.
Yeah, he did the right thing there. He suffered a little bit on the exit, but he just kept it in the middle of the road, so
Yeah.
Eiserman couldn't go around him. And all this, while all this is going on, Matt Crow's just rubbing his hands together and running away.
Yeah, 100%. It's the thing when you start a battle with someone as well, like, and you have to defend, you do inevitably drop time.
Yeah, it's always the worst thing when you're being the car in front or the car at the back of a queue is okay because you can just keep one eye on one direction. When you're in the middle trying to attack and defend, definitely a lot going on, and little mistakes will start coming in. The Audis just seem to have that superior grip coming off the corners, even over the Ferrari there.
Yeah, just as we're watching Keith and the battle here between Keith and Eisenman as well. Oh, Eisenman
no!
rear-ends Keith. Knocks him clean off the track. That was really unfortunate there for Keith Farron and Keys coming together. We'll just take another look at that there. Really almost full pelt into the back of him.
Yeah, he's mistimed his braking and
that Ferrari, the shape of the front of the Ferrari just lift and keep Keith up completely off the ground there. Let's get back into the action here with Aaron Rose. Bosch and Williams.
Aaron Rose has actually spun from P3.
Aaron Rose has had a spin from P3.
Yeah, at the bottom of the hill. He now finds himself down in 8th, so lost a heap of time there. Just on his own, caught a little bit too much grass on the outside, and he spun, so he's dropped down back to P8.
Odom's there coming through the turn. Keith obviously dropping down a few positions there. Currently running in P27 after that rear ending from Forsblom. No, sorry, Keith Eiserman, wasn't it? Not Forsblom. Car of Michael Bucket there, currently running in P10.
Simon Dodd, the lead am up in 7th, doing really well.
That's the... Yeah, yes, aye.
Good to show that it's not just going to be all the pros at the front having it out their own way.
100%.
Saying it, you know, they're getting up there, they're getting amongst it.
The dust coming up off the inside of that corner there as the cars are pushing hard up round at this section of the track. Matt Crow there flashing his lights at a non-lapped car. Carl Gray there. Simon Dodd, his teammate. Back to Carl Gray. Back to Simon Dodd. The action between the Year 1 team right now is outstanding. There's Paul Kerry as well with his Iron Brute Gets You Through livery. Pushing it up through as well. Currently running in P12, chasing down Alan Day. One of the pro drivers right now. Managing to keep up with them fairly well as well just now. There's another crash, guys. Gregory Van Hove and Keith Farren. Let's quickly jump to that and have a little look. Just hope it's not involving the both of them at the same time. The Mercedes just losing it in front of him. Wasn't much of a crash, to be fair.
John Payne just spun it under brakes there. Maybe a bit too much rear bias.
Yeah, Keith as well, just missing him as well. There's nothing really to see there. Don't know why it flagged up as a crash, to be honest. Oh my God. Paul Kerry taking that corner nice and tight there. Nice and sweet and tidy in the exit as well with that BMW. Robert Odoms just having a little incident there. Everyone's still in the race though, guys. No one has retired yet. As we are reaching the halfway point.
Carl and Jonas Greener having a great battle down into the hairpin. What you've got on there now.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and we could have our first pit stop. Whilst Nielsen is in the pits.
P20, Claus Nielsen.
Yeah, he's driving, so that's the first scheduled start. That's really early.
It was maybe did he stop for a pit?
Yeah,
it was
I
quite
think
short.
it could be
16 seconds?
I think it could be a strategic move. He was kind of in a bit of traffic there, battling away with two other cars, so maybe come in, get the undercuts and clear air and put some clean laps in, see if he can jump. And the problem is with so many cars on track, he's only got about a second's worth of clear air, so
That's the thing with a busy grid, and like a lot of drivers on the track at one time. The clear air strategic pit stop move, it doesn't always work. Certainly you can make it and come out and you have maybe a couple of seconds at most clear air, but you always either catch up with back markers or there will always be someone you'll catch up with really, really quickly.
if you do it too early, you do get in a situation like that where you're caught up.
It's absolutely outstanding to see, guys. If you look at that track map up in the top right-hand side, the amount of red and blue cars all bunched together, as well as, having your leaders up there. It's really nice to see some of those, the amateur drivers really, really pushing up through. And, doing really well against the pro drivers as well. So, yeah, it's really good to see. Just shows you how open the competition here is at Turn 7 Racing.
Andre Cabela's coming for his scheduled stop as well.
So is P21 Hob.
So Gregory Van Hoe's stop was 22.2 seconds. That's quite fast. I think he's done a really good job on saving fuel early on.
It's either that or he started with a full tank and just done an early pit anyway.
Yeah. By contrast, Klaus Nielsen, who he was battling with before, but they both stopped, was 34 seconds. That's 12 seconds longer. That's quite a big stop, and that's not enough for tyres. It would have been a fuel difference.
Yeah,
so
no.
It could be one on a full tank at the start and one was a bit lighter.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
Yeah. So currently with Keith Farron again. Now with John Payne pushing up through there as well. Lewis Rose in the Tiger car. Bosher Williams pushing through there in the McLaren. Still trying to chase Lewis down. It's nice to see as well P1 is a Ferrari, P2 is an Audi, and P3 is a McLaren. It's nice to see that. Just a shame one of the BMWs weren't up there as well in the top 10.
Yeah, it's good to have a nice variety. First BMW was 11th. First Mercedes is in P20. P18 now, sorry.
I've got the first Mercedes in P24.
Yeah. No, he pitted, sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
He was the car that pitted. My timing screen hadn't updated.
Yeah, I was
a little bit
wondering
slow
there.
on that one.
So we're currently running with Jonas Greener. No, we're not. Claus Nelson right now. Let's jump up with Stephen Jones right now, and we'll see how he's getting on that
Just
chase
coming to pit
down
lane.
as well. Bosher is currently in the pit stop as well. He's went for a little bit earlier one than the leader. Can that turn out on his favour? Oh, he actually had a crash.
He'd had a spin, so it was a case of if you're going slow into that corner anyway, limit the damage, I suppose.
Okay.
Just too much curb on entry. Yeah, another one, 32-second pit stop for Boscher there. So Gregory Vihove, if everybody started on lighter tanks, he's okay, but I think that number's too big a difference. It's obviously going to be a lot of fuel saving.
100%. 100%. Yeah, Yokomo. There is still space in this championship. Put exclamation mark Discord in the chat. Head to Your Choices channel in the Discord and write your current license in the IR, and we'll get you sorted out for the championship. And thank you very much for the follow. So we're currently on board here with one of the backmarker racing guys, Mr. Stephen Jones, and his Ferrari GT3. As the leaders are just starting to lap the guys down the very bottom of the pack.
Yeah, Billy Fletcher's going to be coming in a lot of traffic within the next few laps. Be interesting to see if he stays out and works his way through, or maybe takes the stop and limits the risk.
He's got to be sitting there thinking to himself as well. I mean, he's got to see it in his relatives on his dashboard that Boscher actually did make the pit stop. So he's got to think to himself, should I?
He's in a lot of clear air as well, where Boscher's come back out. I know he lost time on entry with the spin.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of clear track there. So I think if the leaders would have picked now, they would come out in a bit of a window. It's a tactic that's, if you can guarantee clear air, or there's a good chance of clear air, pitting instead of working through back mark is obviously always gonna yield you a bit of time.
Yeah, 100%. You're always gonna lose that little bit as well when you're approaching a blue flag situation. It's got to be expected. Here is Colin Campbell. Currently is sitting in P5, so he's up to 3 places from his qualifying position. Currently holding off Aaron Rose just behind him there. He's like within 0.02 of a second. Ed currently pushing through as well with the McLaren. It's an absolute stunning looking car on the track, the McLaren. Personally, I nicknamed it the Dragon because of the flames that shoot out the back of it, like
it's
randomly.
Definitely the best feature. If you could take the flames from the McLaren and the sound from the Mercedes, you'd definitely be well on your way to a good car.
Yeah, 100%. So as you can see as well, guys, the sun really isn't shining on that part of the track there as well. So the track temperatures will be slightly cooler at that section as they come up around here as well on the back.
Temps have actually dropped 6 degrees from qualifying. We're down to 88 Fahrenheit now.
As the time of the day is getting on as well.
Rena and Dobarts are in making their scheduled stop, so it'll be interesting to see where they pop out.
Ed chasing down Simon Dodd there for that elusive P7. Trying to fight his way up into the top 5. He's got a bit of work to do, right enough to catch Colin. He's quite a bit behind him. Eight seconds to be exact as we go into the last 25 minutes or so remaining of this race of round 1 of the GT3 Championship here at Turn 7 Racing. The Hexago car just mounting the curbs on the exit there, which would have cost him a bit of time there. Ed pulling out to overtake, going down the straight. He just doesn't have the legs to do it.
Got the line for the corner though, he should be able to do it on the brakes now.
100%. Really good pass there from Ed. Colin and Campbell there as well.
And good of Michael to give him the room to finish that. Good driving from both there.
Yeah, 100%. Really good respect there from the two drivers.
We got a lot more stops being made now. Down the second half of the field. Still no more of the leaders have come in. The average does seem to be around a 34-second mark to transit pit lane. That's including around a 15-second stop. So Gregory Hope obviously had damage or something with his repair because he's only got 22 seconds pit lane with a 3.8 second stop. So there's no way that's fuel will finish the race.
Yeah. The pit crew working non-stop with the guys there trying to fuel the car in a very little time.
I'd want his flow rate checked if he can fill the car up in 3.8 seconds.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't mind that, pit crew.
Yeah, me either. They'll need to come and work with me in the ILMS.
Jones is in from P3.
Jones is in right now from P3. This will be interesting. Yeah. So I
He
get
was
the total
right behind
time.
Boscher.
I get the total time from the enter the pit lane till the exit. But it also gives me the time as well that they've actually stopped for.
Yeah, stationary time, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see his total time here for the pit lane. Have you got an average there for the totals?
I can see it's been around the 34th second is the most regular. Fastest that looks like they've taken fuel so far has been Boscher at 32.5, but this is a long stop from Stefan. He's falling down the order. He's been stationary now for 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe he forgot to uncheck the tyres, or he wanted to take tyres, but he's falling a long way down. He's away now. That's a 55-second stationary time and a minute 14 on total transit time. So that's twice more than double what anybody else has done. So that's cost him a lot of time.
Do you think there was maybe a penalty involved there?
Could well have been. It's not incident related, so it can only be if he didn't serve a slowdown, because you can't take slowdowns into the pits anymore. So if he didn't serve the slowdown before he hit pit lane, it would have held him. Or speeding, I suppose. He could have been speeding in as well.
Yeah. Because that's an instant 40-second penalty. Yeah.
I'll have a quick look on his approach. I'll just check over that quickly now.
Because it is a rather long pit stop there. Be nice to find out what actually happened. So as Robert's doing that, we're back in the action here with Luke Hobson, one of the amateur drivers here, currently running in P27. Getting it lapped right now by some of the front leaders. Michael Bucket just pushing by him there.
So with Stefan Jones, it was a speeding penalty. His speed limiter didn't engage on pit entry. He had 2 stabs at it, so that would have been a 40-second stop and hold.
Yeah, 100%. So there you go, guys. That's explained that the longer pit stop was, in fact, a speeding penalty in the pit lane. Thanks very much for that, Robert. It's brilliant having someone else here. Could get used to this. I'm sure it's better for you guys as well, watching, is like having 2 voices and 2 different views on the race. And yeah, I'm certainly enjoying it a lot better here. So Bucket's currently
has made it stop as well, so
yeah.
He's back out in P2.
Yeah, so Michael Bucket's just pushed up, obviously due to the pit stop scenario here, but he's just pushed up there to P4 and currently leading for the amateur class as well right now.
He's been putting some solid laps in. He's been very consistent.
You certainly want to keep an eye on, I think, this season. So there's Aaron Rose, your current leader, entering the pit lane. Let's see what his pit stop time is like. Billy Fletcher taking the lead off him there then, inevitably. I don't think Billy has actually made his pit stop yet.
We've still got 7 cars to make their stops.
Cool. There's Paul Kerry just away into the pit lane as well there. I seen him going in from the view of Colin's car there. Keith far in there trying to push his way back up through. He's currently running 16th. Is that where he was actually when that incident happened? I think
he was around there, yeah. Yeah, he's still got to make his stop though, so he's gonna drop back a few, but he was working his way back up into the top 20 before the stop started, so it'd be interesting to see where he comes out the other side of it. We've got 4 cars left now to pit, so nearly everybody's transited.
And they all should be due to come in on this lap. As you can see, guys, the pit lane is really, really busy right now. I think we've currently got about 4 cars entering and exiting the pit stop. Yep, Keys is exiting. Gregory's entering. So the pit stop is absolutely mobbed right now. So you'll see quite a big shuffle here of the standings until obviously it settles back down and everyone's made their pit stops, and they come out and they do a lap or two, and then it'll sort itself back out. And we'll see how the standings are. But right now, as it stands, Billy Fletcher is leading the race with Ed in P2. I think
Ed's in the pits.
Ed,
Just pulling in now.
yeah. Yeah, I see him there. Ed is going into the pits right now.
Michael following him in. Michael there, and Am was running up in third for a while there. Really solid drive.
Bosher Williams moving back up into P3 there as well. He made one of the earliest pit stops. He pitted a few laps ago, actually.
Yeah, 7 laps ago he pitted now.
Yeah.
He had one of the fastest pit times as well, so he gained some time there.
There's currently one Ford GT3 in the championship, but the driver is not racing tonight. He's got work commitments. So
Keith is the only car now left to still make his pit stop. Everybody else has pitted.
One of the things about... Whoa, that was a little bit of a move. Whoa. That was a little bit of a move there from Harper. Ooh. Let's have another look at that, guys. Harper and Matt Crow coming together there. Little bit of a dive bomb up the inside, overshoots the corner, and then just wipes him out. I think we'll be expecting a couple of reports coming in at the end of this race, certainly one or two. But to be fair, guys, for 31 tracks on the car, what you've got to bear in mind as well is this is actually still really clean. There's only been, what, 2 questionable incidents?
Yeah, there's only been a few. The driving standard has been really, really good. When you've got a lot of cars, with how close the times were, how close everybody's on track. And even now, there's still some really good battles going on. So.
Yeah. And when you look at it as well, is that, you know, the field hasn't had a chance to open up properly either. I mean, they're all still in really close groups. So
everybody's still battling somebody, aren't they?
Yeah.
The only one that's really got a bit of a gap at the moment is Billy Fletcher, who's just kept his head down out in front and got himself nearly a 12-second lead. Colin Campbell has made a good move up. He's up in the top 5 now.
Yeah, it's really good to see as well. Colin, he's not been showing much, but he's certainly been one of the most interesting drivers on the track. Sometimes the quiet ones are the ones that you really need to watch out for, and Colin's been silently pushing up through there. He's only moved up 3 spaces, but he's not get himself involved in anything at all. Like, you know, like he's just moved up there quietly. The silent ninja.
Just let everybody else make their mistakes. He's kept it straight and steady and pick up the pieces when they're offered.
Yeah. currently with your P2 driver right now, Lewis Rose, as he's on his 28th lap, coming into almost 10 minutes left of this race here at Barcelona. And a T7R, a GT3 Pro and Amateur Championship. It's been outstanding racing tonight, guys. I'm sure you'll agree. Some of the action has been absolutely outstanding. Oh, a little crash there in the background. I'm sure that was Simon Dodd. Let's just jump back and have a little look at that again. Oh, he just spins it out wide there on the sure that's turn 4. Gets back on track and off he goes with his race. Nothing too much to see there. Rasmus Greener pushing up through as well. Now currently in P4. He's still down 3 positions from his qualifying position, guys. So yeah. Rasmus coming through again. Hobson following very closely behind him.
I think one of the closest battles at the moment. Carl Gray is all over the back of Paul Kerry's Iron Brew car.
Yeah, we've just jumped to that just now. So here you go, Carl Gray pushing up, trying to push up through past Paul Kerry. These drivers are used to each other by racing against each other in the GTE Championship last season. Different cars though. Paul Kerry just pushing out wide there. I thought he was going to lose the position there due to that. Hakala in the pits. Unscheduled pit stop. Carl just losing the back end slightly coming out round that corner. Slowed him down a little bit.
Gray seems to be struggling with the apex at the moment, whether he's overheated the tyres or...
Yeah, you can see that there. The back end, the car's just kicking out a little on him mid-corner.
Yeah, he's constantly a car's width from the apexes, which is costing him time. He's all right in a straight. He seems to catch up with Kerry in a straight then, but just can't stay close enough to use that draft.
Now let's see with the light going down the straight here as they're getting close, because he's really close behind them. They're exiting that corner. And here they come down the straight. Can he take advantage of the slipstream?
I think the balance is a lot better in the GT3 class at the moment than it has been in previous builds. The BMW always used to struggle on the straights. So for the Ferrari to kind of hold station on the straight there instead of just blowing past it.
To be quite honest as well, Robert, though, I'm quite pleased with the build right across the board. I mean, even in the GTEs, every car is more competitive now.
Yeah.
There's not a standout car. Obviously, you get your cars that are better for certain tracks. But there's not an actual standout car that just like what we call as an OP car.
Yeah,
there isn't one.
Sort of be in this to win it, or if you're in anything else, you don't stand a chance kind of thing.
Yeah. Which, in my opinion, is really good to see. It's about time it went to that stage.
Yes.
And that's the way it should be. So we're still here with the battle between Kerry and Gray right now. Both amateur drivers here for P13. Although it says battle for 11th, that'll be 11th, and I don't know why it says battle for 11th, but it does in the relatives, I think.
And
It's a
battle
bit drunk.
for 4th in the AM class as well.
Yeah, it's a battle for 4th in the amateur class, yeah. And Paul Kerry will be what he keep hold of that position as well.
Yeah, but Gray looks a lot closer this time.
And he's slightly offline though for that slipstream. He's not quite tucked in behind him to get the benefit out of it. Oh, I thought he was going to try and brake late into the corner there. I think he did a little bit. He managed to keep it fairly decent through the corner there as well.
Yeah, playing the game at the moment. Just show the nose. See if you can't unsettle him. And
oh, he goes up the inside and he makes it through. Can he hold on to it? Naturally, the inside of the corner would be better, and he has made that move. Carol Gray is taking P4 for the amateur class so far. Paul Kerry just dropping down to P5 and P14 overall.
While they were battling, Simon Dodd has managed to get back on the back of him now as well. So another year one racing team car for Paul Kerry to deal with. He's going to think, I've just had one come past, and then there's another one.
Yeah.
Like buses.
These green cars are everywhere.
Yeah, the old deja vu selling in a minute.
Didn't he just pass me? So let's jump with Simon Dodd and see how he's getting on against Paul Kerry here as he is then lining up to make a move on him. The year one race team currently really pushing hard here for that top 5. Oh, and he goes round the outside and he holds it. What a move!
Kerry was offline on the way in, and it just meant he couldn't get the turn back.
Ed has just had a little boo-boo there. But Kerry is pushing back. It's neck and neck into that corner, or just a little kiss to the door.
Just letting him know he was there.
Yeah. Good door-to-door action there, to be fair.
It's a great battle.
Yeah. You got to expect that, guys, when the cars are racing this hard against each other for a top 5 spot in class. You've got to expect a little bit of door rubbing there. And to be fair, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, Simon just tucked in behind again, and he'll go again. A couple of corners later, he'll go past him again, or certainly try anyway.
And the thing to remember is this hour has flown by. We've only got 2 minutes of the race left.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't even realise that. And we
I
also
just looked up and was surprised.
Yeah, we also had one of the top 5 having an incident as well there. Ed has dropped down to P7. He's had a crash and an off track as well. And he was off track for almost 2 seconds. But I can't leave this battle right now because it's just too good. Oh, he's off track. Oh. Simon Dodd there, just really...
Address.
Yeah.
No.
Really good, clean battle up until that point there. They obviously had to come back on track, guys, and braking like that off track would have probably caused them a spin, but to be honest, you should have lifted off and just gave the position up. That's certainly what I would have done. Then again, tucked in behind. But it just shows you just the passion and you know, like how hard these drivers are actually trying, because these guys know this is for top 5 in the class. These guys want to start the season strong. So let's jump elsewhere since there's a gap opened up there. We're currently with Rasmus Greener, P25 right now. Closing in Hobson. Carol Gray has just had a little incident there as well. Does that mean Paul Kerry retook that position?
There's definitely one of the...
He has. Carol Gray had a little crash there. And I think we should actually jump back and have a little look at that, guys, and see what happened. So there he is. Oh, he just spins on the exit of that corner.
Well, we said earlier we noticed he was struggling. It looked like he was struggling for grip, so it could be with setup. He's just cooking the rears.
So Paul Carey regains that position. And the checkered flag is up. The race is now over. Billy Fletcher takes the win. Lewis Rose passed the finish line. Bosher Williams passes the finish line. Aaron Rose just closely in behind them. And Colin Campbell as well crosses in 5th place. Jason Hodgson in 6th. Ed in P7. Thank you very much, Dan. And Stephen Jones comes down to cross the finish line in P9. Alan Day coming round the last corner to finish in the top 10 for his first race here at Turn 7 Racing in the Falcon Team livery. Chris Neesham coming round at the last corner as well there. Another one of the backmarker crew. Claus Nelson as well. Simon Dodd and Paul Carey coming across. Jonas Greener coming round the last corner right now, followed very closely by De Ridder. Carol Gray coming around the last chicane. And around the last corner there, coming up the start-finish line straight. Andre Kerbel off track. He's currently off track. Gregory Van Hove. That's everyone now across the finish line here for round 1 of the T7R GT3 Endurance. T7R GT3 Pro and Amateur Championship. What did you make of that race then, Robert?
It's great, and if the season stays with the battles the way they were there, if the numbers stay up and we see more of the same, it's going to be an amazing championship, a good season. It was so close all the way through. There was lots of battles, and they were battling hard but fair for the most part. De Ridder, I think, is, if he can maybe get a bit more qualifying pace out for next time, he showed he came up 12 spots, so I think he could be one to watch.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
But just dominating performance from Billy Fletcher. He didn't really see anybody after turn 1.
Yeah, he literally just pushed on and on and on and just, kept pushing. And I think he won. What was the gap there at the end? I'm sure it was about 12 seconds, 13 seconds, wasn't it, at the end?
13.9, yeah, so nearly 14 seconds at the end.
Yeah, 100%. So that was an absolutely outstanding race. And we will hopefully get an interview with some of the drivers. I don't know whether you want to put in the chat for the top 5 to join the interview room, Robert, if you don't mind.
Yeah, on it.
And get the winner of the amateur as well. Just a couple of the amateur. In fact, make it top 3 each. And then that way it'll be better. We'll get some interviews going as well, guys. So, why are we looking at qualifying? Let's look at the race. So here we are. Here's your race. Here's the race overall results. So, taking the win there is Billy Fletcher for the pro and overall. Followed very closely by Lewis Rose, Bosher Williams in third, Aaron Rose in fourth, Colin D. Campbell in fifth, Jason Hodgson in sixth, Ed there in seventh. P8 is Michael Bucket. Stephen Jones and Alan Day completes your top 10. Chris Neesham is in P11. Claus Nelson finishes P12. Simon Dodd P13. Paul Kerry P14 with that awesome battle there at the end of the race for P5. Also following very closely is Jonas Greenert, Dieter de Ridder, Carol Gray in 17th, 18th Andre Kerbel, in 19th position was Gregory V. Hove, Keys Iserman in P20. So that concludes your top 20 guys overall. On P21 was Keith Farren, Jamie Jerkins there in P22, John Payne on P23, Luke Hobson at P24, Rasmus Greener there in P25, John Dobarts in P26, Lero Forsblom on the P27, Mika Akala there in P28, Matt Crow P21, P29, and in P30 Elliot Harper, Robert Odoms P31. And that concludes the race here today. So let's have a little look at the pro overalls. It's not given, is it? Oh, it's because I've done that. 2 seconds. Amateur overall. Yeah, it's given us the amateur overalls, but it didn't give us the pro. Right, so here we are. This is the way the amateur category finished in the race. Michael Bucket won for the amateur class. Chris Neesham in P2. Claus Nelson in P3. Simon Dodd in P4. Paul Kerry in P5. Jonas Greenert in P6. Carol Gray in P7. Andre Kerbel in P8th. Gregory Van Hove in P9. Keith Farren finishes in the top 10. Jamie Jackins in P11. John Payne in P12. Luke Hobson in P13. Rasmus Greener in P14. John Dobarts P15. Lero Forsblom in P16. And Mika Hakala in 17th. Robert Odoms in P18. And Niels Mashandena in P19. I really apologise for pronouncing that wrong. Let's see if the pros will actually load properly now. It did. So we had 13 pros in this race tonight for round 1, and finishing on top was Billy Fletcher, Lewis Rose, then Bosher Williams, Aaron Rose, Colin D. Campbell in P5, Jason Hodgson in P6, Ed there in P7, Stephen Jones P8, Alan Day in P9, P10 is Didier de Ridder, P11 is Keys Iserman, P12 was Matt Crow and Elliot Harper in P13. So yeah, guys, we have 2 drivers in the interview waiting room, Alan Day and Michael Bucket. Let's see. I think they're both amateurs, aren't they, Robert?
Yeah, both of those are, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right, so we'll just put the amateur class back up.
Sorry, Alan Day is a pro.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Alan Day finished 10th at pro. Michael Bouchette was P8 and the AM winner.
Yeah. So let's speak to the AM winner first. We'll get him up in. Hello there, Michael.
Hello.
How was that race, buddy?
Not too bad. Not too bad, to be honest. I won the so that's good. Yeah, just a bit unlucky at the start, but then afterward, well, everything went well, so I will not complain.
Yeah, like when you obviously started this race, did you have a race plan in mind?
Safe tires.
Save tires.
That was the only plan, because I know that Barcelona is very hard on tires. So to last for 1 hour, you really need to not attack at all.
Yeah.
So I had my plan to try to run like 147.3, around 147.3, 147.7, and try to do it without getting into the tires. And I think I did it pretty well.
You certainly did, because it brought you out on top and got you that win.
Yep.
So it really is an awesome start to the season here at the Turn 7 Racing GT3 Pro Amateur Championship for you. Certainly in the amateur results there as well. I think you actually finished overall and amongst the pros as well. Yeah, you finished P8 overall, so that was, in the top 10 there out of 13 pro drivers as well. So,
Well,
like,
I'll take it.
yeah, it's a very good start for you, to be honest. And what Robert will probably tell you as well here is what we noticed at the start and in the qualifying sessions is there wasn't that much splitting the top 20 drivers.
No, I was really surprised by how dense the qualifying was, because in practice there were much more spaces, and after the qualification it was like, yeah, everyone was under 147. That was like kind of very fast.
Yeah. So Robert, are you want to ask Michael anything?
Just back to like you said, I think it's a credit that you've gone in with the game plan of just run your lap times. I think that's a really good approach, and it shows that it's paid off there with a solid result. We've seen a few cars there that were maybe a bit more chasing lap times and over driving, and they were obviously experiencing what you said there with the fall off. So just a great job to keep it smooth. Your lap times were really consistent, which is good to see. And great result for your first race to get top 10 and the class win.
Yeah, excellent, mate. Can't wait to see you racing next week.
Well, I'm waiting for it too. So see you next week.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Congratulations again, and well done on your race, your Class 1 and PA overall. And see you next week.
Thanks.
So we'll go over now and speak with, I'm sure it was Billy Fletcher, was it? Yeah, the overall winner and the Pro Class winner. So we'll speak to him first of all. How you doing, Billy?
Hello.
How was that?
Fun. I quite enjoy that track.
Yeah, well, first of all, talk us through your start.
And that was just a case. I've kind of got my own thing to do on starts, and it worked. It always usually does. I think I was quite lucky that I had two teammates behind me, so that was helpful for me. So I didn't have to worry about being sort of put under attack. But I knew Boscher would be quick on the start. That McLaren's pretty nifty in a straight line.
Yeah, we were watching the McLaren very closely going down the straights. It seemed to kind of for us anyway, watching, I'm quite sure you'll agree, Robert, it seemed to lack in the tail end of the straights, but certainly out the exit of the corner, it was pretty quick.
Yeah, they do generate, the McLaren generates a fair bit of traction. Obviously, my teammate Aaron's in the Audi, and he mentioned that every time he could sort of come off the final chicane, and the McLaren pulled a couple of attempts on him every time. Yeah.
Well, as I say, I mean, the Audis, it's real. We were talking as well during the race there at how close the cars are all this season in this current build of iRacing. It's the same with the GT3 cars. The GT cars, they're all fairly close. There's not really one car that sticks out that's the one that you want to race every race. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, another league I compete in, I used BMW most of last season. I mean, that wasn't touched for the BO3 this season.
Yeah.
And I've driven it a couple of times, and it feels as good as it did last season. We went for the Ferrari because of a sort of team decision. But no, you're right. I think when we get to the faster tracks, you're going to see the BMW sort of come into its own. It struggles to rotate. Also, that big lump over the front end of it. But I think when we get to the fast tracks, I reckon it's going to be very quick round Brands Hatch next week. So we'll see how the boys in the Beamers go.
Yeah, 100%. So, did you have a strategy coming into this race at all? Did you obviously your start was clean and you got away fairly quickly. I think you finished with a 13-second, almost 14 seconds lead. So, did you have a strategy in mind at all when you started the race?
To be honest, it depends how the start went. I knew I had a touch of a pace advantage on Aaron. I thought if Elliot got behind me, Elliot was as fast as I was. He was a little bit unlucky with his mistakes. I've already spoke to him regarding the race, and he has owned up and said, put his hands up. He apologises for it. I knew if he got behind me, I might have had a bit of problems, but I knew I had a touch over Aaron, so I just kind of had to work on that gap, not destroy the tyres at the same time, and it paid off. I was just lapping as fast at the end of the race as we was at the start.
Yeah, 100%.
You had great consistency there. The gap was building regular every lap. Were you overworking the tyres for that, or did you keep your tyres in check because you had the clear air?
The clear air kind of kept the tyres in check. I knew what I've done so many laps around there over the last 2 weeks. We did the endurance race at the weekend, and I kind of knew what the car needed to not destroy the rears, not destroy the fronts, where you could push, where you couldn't. We kept it well within its limits between the bends and through the bends, keeping the front tyres in check, and it seemed to pay off. As I say, I think my fastest lap was 45.8, and I was doing the 46.3, 46.2s at the end, so the tyres were sort of checked in really well.
And you did that 45.9 on full fuel as well. That was really early on, because we commented on the feed about the fact of how early you'd hit such a quick lap time that was only about 0.8 off your pole time, I think, with a full tank of fuel. So the car must have been really dialed for both. You'd obviously had a quality balance that carried over to your race car then, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed with the new tyre model that your best lap is about that 3. When you're race fuel, about 4 and 5 is when the car sort of peaks, and then you kind of struggled. I don't know about the other cars, particularly the Ferrari. You start losing traction through the fast corners, like the long right-handed turn 3, turn 4. As you're trying to get off the corner, the traction control's kicking in, and it just doesn't want to pull off the corner anymore. And that's when you start losing time. So it's about that 4-5 when it really is. It's lit. Everything's about where it needs to be. And then all of a sudden, it's like a cliff. And all of a sudden, you lose traction. And yeah, it's just a case of when the car's at its best, really.
Yeah, did you feel like, obviously the track doesn't get cleaned in between sessions, so did you feel like if there were a little bit of extra grip during the race at the start as well, or how did that pan out? Because the track temperatures were, I would say, was pretty optimal for today's race as well. It wasn't. It certainly wasn't roasting, and it wasn't too cool either. How did you feel that played out for you in the race as well?
To be honest, the track felt about perfect at the end of qualifying. I tried another qualifying lap after I set my initial fastest time, and then I've just done exactly the same time again. So the track had peaked, I think, towards the end of qualifying, and once you start to get to that point, the track does start getting slower. It starts generating a bit too much traction, a bit too much grip, and you start just getting slower, basically.
Yeah.
But the track felt good the whole run. There was no sort of points where you kind of thought to yourself, the track's gone off. I have the temperature live feed, so I could see the track cooling down. So I knew the track would get a bit quicker anyway. But other than that, yeah, the track was spot on, I think.
Awesome. Again, congratulations. Can't wait to see you racing next week. And well done in the win overall and on the pro class as well. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you racing next week.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to racing next week.
Excellent, mate. Catch you soon.
See ya.
You guys.
So we'll speak to Alan Day, who was in who finished P10 overall. If he's there, are you there?
I am there.
How you doing?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, not too bad. How did you enjoy that race?
Yeah, like it was definitely one of those type of races where it was just basically play safety first, for the first like 5 laps, settle in, and then it was just pretty much just settling average pace there. Really, like most of the race, I'd say, is a little bit on the just settle on the pace first. But once the stops were over, then I kind of knew who I was battling with towards the end.
Yeah. Well, for yourself, it was a fairly good race that you raced, because, I mean, let's be honest, you know, you were 10th overall and 9th in the pro class out of 13th, so like that for your first race is really, really good. How did you find the pace of everyone in this race today? Did you find it difficult to keep up? Were you trying to keep up? Was what was your plan coming into the race? Was it just to, just to race
Like
clean?
when I first of all came into the race, I knew there would be a number of drivers that would be able to set much faster pace than me. Like considering a lot of them, the drivers that are on the upper end of the grid probably have done a lot of VRS sprint race during week 1 of the VRS sprint series last week. They've also done probably VRS endurance. I didn't even step foot into the car at all. I've had zero practice going into practice yesterday. So to come out in a top 10 finish overall, like I feel is actually a fairly good result considering I had no practice until yesterday. But then at the same time, I know that the BMW isn't the greatest of cars either. So I think it's a car selection as well. Like I knew I wasn't going to have the greatest races along this track in particular, but I know there's going to be certain tracks where I'm going to be a bit more further up the field because it tends to favour the BMW a little bit more.
Yeah, well, we were just saying that there in Billy's interview there as well, is that the BMWs will probably spark to life next week in Brands Hatch. So, yeah, we're certainly looking forward to seeing you race there. And again, congratulations on your top 10 position and your P9 overall.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us, and looking forward to seeing you race again next week.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Final thoughts on the race then, Robert?
Just looking forward to next week, the same as the drivers. I think it was harder to watch than I thought. You sort of wanting to be out there, but it was a really good race by all. Great battles, and yeah, hopefully more of the same as the season goes on.
100%. I'm genuinely looking forward to next week. I kind of want to race in it now. Because it looks so competitive.
Do you think we can find some substitutes?
I don't know. Is anyone in chat want to swap? Because I would really like to race in this next week. So yeah,
and that's the credit to obviously how the championship and how everybody drove. It's the clean racing makes it that much more attractive, and yeah, hopefully long may it continue.
Yeah, 100%. As again, guys, this was the first race here at Turn 7 Racing GT3 Pro and Amateur Championship. Again, if it's something that you want to enter, feel free to enter that exclamation mark Discord in the chat. You can do it at any time, whether we are online, offline, it will still pop up. Also, I'd like to say as well, if you're watching back on YouTube, down below there in the description, you will get links to our official sponsors, Pro Street Sim Design and Vialia. Pro Street Sim Design is an awesome company that makes components for sim racing, including steering wheels, button boxes, everything that you can possibly think of, all custom made as well. So check them out, and you get an exclusive discount for being part of Turn 7 Racing. You just put exclamation mark PSS in the chat and check them out, guys. The discount code is next to the link on that as well. Vialia, on the other hand, is a web server hosting. It hosts server for games and sim games, anything at all, and also file storage. So check them out as well, guys. And again, this was Barcelona. This was round 1 on the Turn 7 Racing GT3 Pro and Amateur Championship. Thanks for watching, guys. We are going to raid the channel, so please stay there while we do so. Okay guys, we're going to head over to Sega Sim Racing. Make sure you check him out. Give him a little follow. He's streaming iRacing right now, currently driving the GTE Corvette. So please guys, give him a little check out. Hang out for a little 5. And here we go. Everyone join the raid. We're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's raid.